Guys, happy new year. Waterfowler41 here, and in today's video we're going to be kicking off a little bit of a garage update. Why? Well, I've really neglected my garage over the last couple of years. It's just kind of getting dirty and dungy and it needs some love. So we're going to be installing Greatmats.com TurboTiles. So these are garage tiles. They click together. There's a loop on one side, clips on the other side. You really just step on them, press them into place, and that's how the install works. So here is the general floor layout that I'm going to be going with. We have our dual side for the two-car garage over here, and then we have the single-car garage here. You can see we got a dual there, single there. We got a little notch out. That's accounted for right here. All right, so let's talk about the tools that we need to complete this project. And they're very simple. All the tools are super attainable from your local hardware store. You don't need to wait and order any sort of special tools or spend $1 billion trying to buy these tools. You have a lot of choices as far as how you want to cut your tiles. In my case, I'm going to have a lot of split tiles, so I'm going to have to cut tiles straight in half. I would highly recommend getting a tool like this because it basically gives you a, I want to say this is a 13-inch blade, so it fits a 12-inch tile. You slide it in there, you align it with your angle thing on the side, and once you pull this down, it's a blade that goes right across the tile itself and splits it. This is nice because this will give you a nice clean cut, and if you're making a lot of the same cut or a lot of consistent cuts, it'll give you a nice clean consistent line. Depending on your project, get a big T-square like this, a big angle, because you're going to want to figure out where your lines are at on those notches, and it's pretty easy to just line this up on the inside, draw your lines on your tile, and cut from there. Tape measure, obviously you need to clean out your garage, so brooms and all that stuff, but beyond that, no special tools are needed. Flooring's going to go through temperature fluctuations, which means it's going to contract and expand with heat and cold. It is 28 degrees right now in my garage, so everything's pretty small. So what's going to happen is during the summer this is all going to expand. So what you need to do is ensure that every time you're by a hard edge like this, you leave like a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch of gap so you allow the tiles to spread. Now that I've installed probably over 100 of these tiles, I kind of figured out what works best as far as install. So when you're going to install a corner here, you want to grab it with the hoops pointing out, and then you want to push it into the corner, and then push from this corner in, and then everything's easier to clip in. If you just try to lay it on top and try to get the clips in, sometimes they fight you. But if you hold it from the outside corner here, push it in, it's a lot easier to line up the tabs because everything does fit very snugly. We made a ton of headway, got all the way up to the solid black border here, which lines up with the bump out in the two-car side of the garage. So we're at where I wanted to be. So we have our cardboard templates cut out, so all I did is just aligned everything, then used my square to line it all up, and that is how the piece is gonna look, so it's perfect. So now what I'm gonna do is transpose these dimensions onto a tile. All right, so there's our piece, perfectly cut. I just used a file to clean up the edges. Anyway, now the next piece we're gonna do is flat cuts. So these are gonna be a full tile length. So all we gotta do is just use that cutting tool. All right, the stair is done. I got a nice clean, I'll say a 1/2 inch gap all the way around the stair for thermal expansion, but it looks clean. It's very nice and orderly cuts. And then we continue the black border in here. All right, our project is 100% complete. So I finished it a couple days ago. All in all, the 600 square foot that we laid in this project took about 6 hours to do. That's with some breaks here and there. Make all of your cuts at the end or as close to the end of the project as possible. And also, when you're making the cuts, save your end pieces. All of these tiles on this wall had to get cut. I saved all those end pieces, and it turns out those end pieces actually work perfect over here. You still do want to plan your cuts, but if you want to know exactly how many tiles you want to order, usually order 5% more. Flooring's done. This is an awesome project. Huge shout out to the folks at Greatmats for answering all my questions and support me throughout this project. They're really helpful. I had a lot of stupid questions, and they answered all of them, so that was awesome.